and business. Talk 100.3.
0586861003. If you do want to get in contact with us, you can. TSB, Talk Sport Business with Lachlan Kitchen and Neil Odger. Well, the UAE is certainly in a wave of entrepreneurs that are starting up new businesses. And we're joined in the studio to discuss a brand new business called Mountain Monk. We'll get to that soon. We are joined here by the two, Rupa Jha, the CEO and founder of the Black Swan business setup, and also Ashfaq Kalcutawala. The two of you, thank you very much for coming into the studio.
Thank you, Neil, for welcoming us. It was great. It's great over here.
He's Neil.
I'm
Kish.
Hi, Kid. Sorry.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Talk us about this. You've got a great business called Mountain Monk. What is it? Where did the idea come from?
So, Mountain Monk actually is an Indian brand, which is Ashfaq is the co-founder of Mountain Monk.
Yep.
And I was running Black Swan for the last 7 years over here.
Okay.
Last year in Singapore, we had a BNI conclave where BNI members from across the globe.
So
come.
BNI is the networking.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a BNI international conclave and we all were there and there were 5,000 people in the room.
Wow.
And just imagine I'm standing and I have to network with them and I have no idea whom should I start with. So I made a strategy. Okay, I'll go straight down
to the top. You went straight to
I'll go straight and I'll just look at people. Anybody who smiles at me, I'll go and I'll talk to them. So I was just going straight and this gentleman was one of them who was like, we just, we vibed well. We started talking in. And now it's less than 1 year. So after that event, it was a four days event.
Yeah.
After that, we went back to our own countries. There were follow-up calls and some business.
Yeah.
And finally, with less than a year, we finally ventured out Mountain Monk. We found out in those follow-up meetings that our visions match. Black Swan is a company who helps people set up their businesses.
Okay.
And Mountain Monk is a company that helps people scale up their businesses.
Interesting.
So I thought this will be an amazing idea. At the moment, I'm helping people start the businesses. But sometimes after a year, when there is renewals, some people come, I want to liquidate my company. I said, why? The product was good, the service was good, but something went wrong and they could not run the show. So sometimes, today's hot topic, sometimes the cricketers are good, everything is good, but one thing goes wrong and there's so much...
That's like us every day when Pranav comes in.
Something goes wrong.
So everything is in mess. So suddenly business is also like one bad decision or maybe one bad person in the business. And so that's why I thought I need to join hand with somebody.
Yeah.
I need to save these businesses. I was not satisfied from inside by just setting up. I wanted them to scale up as well. So then Mountain Monk came in the picture and Ashfaq and me ventured out. And now we are not just helping people set up, but helping them grow. So whether it is taking decisions, business plans, feasibility studies, franchisee modeling, expanding, anything.
Interesting. Ashfaq, I'll come to you. First up, why the name Mountain Monk?
It's an amazing question. In fact, I get this question a lot. And reason behind that is whatever I do in my life has to have some purpose.
Okay.
Right. And the word Mountain Monk was coined from a Japanese word called Yamabushi.
Okay.
Yamabushi in Japanese actually means monk of the mountain. Nothing more or nothing less than that. Now, these are the monks who by choice, no one forces them to go somewhere. By choice, go to the mountain, undergo a lot of physical as well as mental exercises, come back to simplify and stabilize their lives. I wanted my clients to do the same thing in their corporate world. How do I do that? So that is why I named the word Mountain Monk.
Interesting. So now, like Rupa mentioned, people start their businesses and then, like Rupa mentioned, people start their businesses and then, when it comes to scaling, you come into play. But, I'm sure that there are some basic errors that people make. If you were to actually point down some of the most common errors that you've seen people, have done in their first year or the second year of businesses, which could be averted and thus, done much better, what would those be?
So first and the foremost would be trying to please everyone, if you ask me. So yes, as a businessman, if I try to please every customer that knocks my door, I think so that is the biggest crime that I as an entrepreneur would be doing. On the contrary, if I identify or focus my clients that this is the segment that I want to cater to, or this is what value I would like to create in my customer's life, either of the two things, I think so that makes a lot of values in client's life. And second, as an entrepreneur, I do not focus on the finances. I do not focus on the numbers that I want to do. So a lot of people I have seen overspend maybe on anything that they want to. Maybe they are in love with their products, or maybe they are in love with the marketing. They don't know how to balance their life. That is why a sheet is called balance sheet and not a marketing sheet or a sales sheet.
I mean, what percentage of people do you see that are really passionate about their product and they might have a great idea and a great concept, but they just don't understand the difference between, ingoings and expenses, incomings and expenses. It must be a high percentage.
So, in right now, if you ask me, 95% of small and medium scale enterprises that we specifically cater to, focus on a yearly balance sheet or an audit report. But then that should be on at least on a monthly basis, if you ask me, or at least on a quarterly basis if you are a startup. But then it should be on a basis of quarter or once a month. At least once a month, I should know my finances well.
Because you only have to speak to most people. It's rather unusual. Most people don't seem to have a household budget. When it comes down to just living week to week.
Absolutely. And the most important thing that I've seen among the entrepreneurs and in the SME sector, people are so passionate, so knowledgeable, so good at what they are doing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to running a business, now running a business is not just marketing, it's not just accounts, it's not just the sale, it is a mixture of everything. And as we know that one person can't be, perfect in everything. And even if he's perfect in everything, how will he take out the time to do all of that by themselves?
What's the percentage in that first year of most new businesses succeeding?
So it would be not more than 5%.
Wow. Didn't think it was going to be that low.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, in succeeding, there are two definitions. One is just managing to renew the license or just manage to pay the salary of the employees. But we need to decide, is that the business? Or is it actually whatever is the potential of my business? If I'm a great dentist and if I should have a business, I should have a walk-in 15 customers every day, and if I'm not having it, then that means that I'm not successful, even if I'm paying the bills.
Probably because they're not on TikTok.
Exactly.
Not dancing.
So it can be with any business. It can be a product, it's foodstuff product, it can be a chef, it can be a restaurant, it can be a radio, it can be any business. Who's who's planning. Maybe they are very passionate, but then if they will not handle all the pillars, ultimately the roof is going to fall down.
So if someone comes into you, like you mentioned, Rupa, that when they come in the second year of renewal and they say, okay, listen, no, we want to shut down, then what is the process that you guys come together with? So if, say, hypothetically, Neil comes with a thought that, listen, I don't want to continue because I've had issues and I want to shut down, losses, I don't have time, I have a full-time job and I'm managing this. How do you then, is there a run order sheet that you guys follow?
So, there definitely is a run order sheet, and honestly speaking, we have developed our own intellectual property on how to rate a business, and how to analyze a business. So that is where I think so a lot of things come into picture. I'll give a beautiful example. So there was a guy who said that since 3 years my business is not growing. It's running, it's not growing. So just to share, I said, okay, let me take a toll out of it and what is happening, let me analyze and let me get back to you. It took us 3 months to analyze the entire business. We looked at every aspect that happens in a business. So let's say how you manage your driver, how you manage your director's cabin, till how do you manage your balance sheet. Everything we studied. After 3 months of deep dive, what we came to know is the guy is spending too much on their operations, and the operations entire operations team, or basically the entire sales team even, do not get time to grow the business. They are overloaded with the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, they're working in the business, not on the business. That old line.
Very well said, Keech.
Yeah, well, I've had that argument myself a few times. What are the businesses that you guys are working with predominantly with Mountain Monk?
So at the moment, we are focusing in all the industries, which includes services, products, retail, manufacturing. So at the moment, there is no niche. It is because any business has the same kind of problems and all the solutions somehow.
Cash flow issues and balance sheet issues. And
I would like to add what she said. Basically, what happens is in small and medium scale enterprises, you do not have too much of differentiation. And being in as a banker, what I was blessed with, I could see a lot of businesses in a different way.
Right.
So that banking experience for almost 9.5 years worked wonders for me, and that is why we could cater to 4 different verticals, which in our terms, whatever we say as business is basically, let's say, a manufacturing unit, a real estate developer, or a service-based unit to, let's say, an architect, or a retailer who wants to franchise out, or there is a manufacturer who just want to distribute it out, or a service-based output. So a wholesaler who wants to distribute it to across globe. How do you manage those kind of things for them? So these are the 4 different verticals which we help them, and I think so that banking experience was a USP for me. And even right now, the entire team that we have, is someone who has grinded the entire stuff, because there is a guy who used to be a chief operating officer of a big company in India, and used to handle an amazing portfolio of, let's say, $600 million.
Wow.
And those are the kind of guys which bring value to the table. So that's what we look into.
When I've been trying to understand the entire collaboration between both these Black Swan and Mountain Monk. Do people only come to you when there's a problem, or do they come to you when they're setting up business? So when Rupa is starting up a business for a person who's just coming in and saying, listen, I want to start this, I want to set up this license A, B, C, and I want this business, do you connect straight up with Ashfaq and say, listen, start from zero so that he doesn't make a mistake after a year?
Exactly. So this is what I was trying to say. So the problem that gave me the idea was the renewal part, but that is not connected. That it's not that is the moment where we pitch Mountain Monk. So now what we do is we want all the entrepreneurs who are running the show. It's better to get it's called prevention is better than cure.
Yeah,
right.
So it's better to get a consultant while you are running the show, to save yourself from the future consequences.
Yeah, I had a CEO tell me it was better to do those audits when the business is going well, because most people wait until things are going badly before they bring in that advice.
Yes.
So yeah,
Because once things are bad, there are solutions, there are sheets, and Ashfaq can do wonders with that. However, in that situations, sometimes if the person, the entrepreneur, if he's ready to take the challenge, Ashfaq will turn the table. But if the entrepreneur says that I have lost my motivation, or if then we'll have to refer him to a mentor, or maybe a motivational coach or something like that.
Yeah, because it can be really hard. You might set out with it, and you might be brilliant at just say it's making candles. You might be brilliant at it, the best in the world. That doesn't mean you're going to know how to run a business properly. And then you're suddenly caught with, doing budgets quarterly, yearly, and marketing, all these things, and it can suddenly dilute your passion, which was the reason you started in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So just to add to Neil's question, we have consulted businesses which were just startups, and we have consulted 100-year-old businesses which were doing really wonderful, but then they thought that we can add value to a lot of our customers' life cycle. And we just diversified them to something else. We grew them to something else. We entirely changed the distribution model, which no other person in the industry used to have. So it's not only that a person
what was the business? Come on.
So, yeah.
You want to tell me? Why can't you tell me? Did you have to sign an NDA? Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So we already signed an NDA with the guy, but then yes, I can share it out. They were the largest manufacturer of tur dals in India.
Wow.
Okay.
And pulses.
Yeah.
Right, and now we diversified them into tea, when they capture 5% of the market share in where they are present into right now in less than 6 to 9 months. So that
5% is a huge market as far as the tea market is concerned.
Exactly.
That's huge. So do you also then help people who have multiple concepts, multiple ideas, but then they don't know where to put in their money, or where they want to put in their time?
So yes, we do those kind of things. We do, ask a lot of people to put in money wherein we find the business is good, or that is what we call it as private equity.
Okay.
Or we might ask the entrepreneur himself to find it from friends and relatives. The only idea is how much we as a company are happy with the client, or with the businesses, or understand the business well.
This is interesting. I'm so glad that in today's time, when everyone is looking forward to set up their own business, go out and venture out, take those big leaps and risks, there are people like you who not just make the process of setting up easy, but also handhold them in literal sense to get that business going. Ashfaq, in your experience across all these years, how has in the recent times, how has UAE performed as far as entrepreneurial market is concerned?
Well, it's my third visit to UAE, and every time I come, I think so I can see the same vibrancy which I see in India right now. So I think so that makes a lot of sense to be here, and I feel a lot of entrepreneurial spirit is here, and just how we encash it, and the entrepreneurs here encash it, is something that is look forward to.
Well, we do appreciate the two of you from coming in. It's great to just get your energy and your excitement. And we do ask you to reach out to Mountain Monk. The website, what's the best place anyone can get in contact with you?
Yeah. So it's mountainmonk.ae.
Okay. And there's obviously mountainmonk.in if people want to see the Indian platform.
Yeah.
But mountainmonk.ae is the website if you want to go to. Rupa Jha and Ashfaq Kalcutawala, thank you to the two of you for coming in. And we do appreciate it on TSB, Talk Sport Business, Talk 100.3.
TSB.